In today's world, where every moment is filled with hustle and bustle and an endless flood of information, many people struggle with intrusive thoughts that prevent them from finding inner peace. Sleepless nights spent in futile attempts to halt the incessant stream of consciousness are becoming an increasingly common phenomenon. However, contrary to popular belief, tranquility is not something to be found, but rather a state that must be actively cultivated. The ancient Stoics, renowned for their wisdom and practical approach to life, developed a series of effective strategies to tame mental chaos and achieve desired serenity. What follows is an exploration of 6 simple yet powerful Stoic techniques that can help quiet the mind and bring harmony into daily life. The first step towards inner tranquility is establishing control over your morning. It is in the initial hours after waking that the decisive battle for the mind unfolds. Unfortunately, many people lose it before they're even fully awake. By reaching for their phone to check social media or email, they inadvertently allow the external world to dictate their terms. Stoics would call such behavior a form of enslavement, where a mind shackled by distractions becomes dependent on dopamine and susceptible to external influences. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor who governed one of history's most turbulent empires, emphasized the importance of conscious control over one's mind. He stated that this is where true human strength lies. What is the strategy? Before you allow the world to take hold of you, take hold of your mind. Dedicate the first 15 minutes of your day to silence and mindfulness. Put away your phone and news. Simply stretch, take a few deep breaths, and reflect on what truly matters. This is not just starting your day, it's laying the foundation for your entire state of mind. Instead of reacting to external stimuli, you create a space for calm and focus. And this space becomes your personal sanctuary. Secondly, it's essential to take control of your inner narrator, for thoughts are not directives. Within each person's consciousness, there is an internal voice constantly commenting on what's happening. It is prone to judgment, comparison, and exaggerating negative outcomes. This voice recalls past failures, moments of embarrassment, and potential risks. However, as the Stoics asserted, this voice does not reflect one's true essence, but is merely mental noise. Epictetus emphasized that the source of distress is not events themselves, but our subjective judgments about them. Thoughts are not facts, but mere assumptions. The recommended strategy is to notice the manifestations of this inner voice as it activates, and neither fight with it nor accept its claims as truth. Instead, you should identify it, for example, by noting, "That's my anxious voice again, telling a story born of my fear." Observing this inner narrator allows you to weaken its influence. One realizes that between stimulus and response, there is a space for choice, providing freedom of action. Peace of mind is achieved not through suppression, but through awareness. Thirdly, one should practice voluntary discomfort. At first glance, this might seem paradoxical. How can intentionally creating discomfort lead to tranquility? The answer lies in the fact that by ceasing to avoid uncomfortable situations, one ceases to be dependent on them. Seneca, despite being one of the wealthiest men in Rome, deliberately subjected himself to deprivation, sleeping on the floor, wearing simple clothes, and eating modest food. This was done to maintain equanimity in moments of real hardship. He was training himself. The Stoic approach involves training the nervous system by creating small, intentional inconveniences. Taking a cold shower, temporarily abstaining from food, walking without a mobile phone, or choosing activities that induce boredom. All of these contribute to an awareness of one's own ability to cope with difficulties. Peace of mind is achieved not by fleeing from stress, but by expanding the boundaries of one's own capabilities. Thus, when life presents significant challenges, one meets them with confidence and calm. The fourth step to taming anxiety is radical simplification, for an anxious mind often suffers from overload. An abundance of choices, numerous open tasks, and both external and internal chaos only exacerbate worry. Stoicism asserts that true freedom lies in simplicity. The fewer your needs, the greater your independence. The strategy is simple: ruthless simplification. You should halve your commitments, disengage from people who drain your energy, declutter your physical space, and create clear systems to minimize spontaneous decisions. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, one should cut away all that is unnecessary. If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it. Every release from mental burden, even the slightest, provides the mind with the necessary space to recover. A calm mind needs room to exist and function. The fifth important aspect is the practice of negative visualization. Imagine this scenario. You're stuck in traffic, annoyed and tense, wishing for movement to resume. Now, imagine that this is the last traffic jam of your life, because tomorrow everything will change. You'll lose your car, your job, your freedom. How differently would you perceive that moment? The Stoics practiced premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of evils. While this might seem grim, the effect is quite the opposite. By visualizing loss, one develops a sense of gratitude and shifts their perspective. What previously seemed frustrating is now perceived as something entirely surmountable and even calming. This is not pessimism, but preparation for potential difficulties. A calm mind is not naive. It is trained to see the worst and remain unperturbed. One begins to appreciate life as it is, not as one wishes it to be. And this simple shift in consciousness fundamentally alters one's entire perception. The sixth cornerstone of Stoic philosophy is daily reflection, a practice that allows one to break free from the cycle of reactive existence. Like a warrior meticulously sharpening his blade before battle, the Stoics took time to reflect on their actions and reevaluate their thoughts. Marcus Aurelius, one of the pillars of Stoicism, daily asked himself three key questions. What did I do well? Where could I have done better? And what thoughts and actions should I let go of? This act of self-analysis was far from self-flagellation. On the contrary, it served as a tool for achieving mental clarity. The human mind can be compared to a cup that fills throughout the day with various impressions and thoughts. If you don't take time to empty this cup, it will inevitably overflow with anxiety, sleeplessness, and irritability. Turn reflection into a daily ritual, dedicating just 5 minutes to journaling. Ask yourself, what thoughts that occupied me today no longer serve my benefit? You'll find that true clarity often comes not through correcting mistakes, but through the ability to let go of what no longer matters. The most peaceful people are not those who live flawless lives, but those who have learned to let go of what is beyond their control. Don't assume that peace of mind is an innate quality. It's built gradually, like a building constructed brick by brick. Every conscious breath, every beneficial habit, every deliberate choice is a contribution to building inner peace. Stoics were not born serene. They became so by navigating trials, chaos, and developing strategies to overcome difficulties. If your mind seems noisy, overwhelmed, or out of control, remember, it doesn't mean there's something wrong with you. It merely indicates that your mind needs training. Each time you choose serenity over the pursuit of stimulation, conscious presence over panic, strategy over surrender, you reclaim your lost tranquility. This is how the mind settles. This is how inner harmony and spiritual growth are achieved.